Hello everyone, welcome to our game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from HipSGuinness and he is in the République, a tier 10 French battleship. Now he is on the map Two Brothers in a 4-point domination game mode. We have no carriers, which is nice, very few cruisers and 4 destroyers here. Now he is going here towards the left. Actually the friendly team has in theory a pretty nice split, I suppose. They have like 5 ships here on the right and 7 ships on the left. The problem is, like here on the right side, like we had the destroyers going in there towards the cap pretty aggressively, I suppose. And the battleships just decided to not help out. For basically no reason. Like, the even worse thing is the enemy team seems to have about the same split. Like, we can see 5 ships on the right. Same as the friendlies. But the friendly battleships decided early on to just run away. Right, they didn't hold position here. So, you know, the left side can't really push because they are most likely facing the same amount of ships. Now, not all enemy ships have been spotted yet. It's entirely possible that there are more enemies here we can't see. But right now, that's an unknown. Now, the friendlies are, it's looking good, taking the A cap, but they basically lost the D cap for no reason. And well, I mean, the friendly Kitakaze also is a bit too aggressive. I guess the Kitakaze was hoping to get some support early on. It's like the set went for the D cap, the Kitakaze went around here a bit scouting and flanking. Still close to the cap, but the Hippa tried something I think early on, but the battleships just sailed away and therefore they all had to retreat. The set 46 at least realized that the Kitakaze unfortunately stayed a little bit too long over there and now he is getting caught. So, meanwhile, obviously our République here is holding position here somewhat behind the cap. It's a good spot, he can provide a lot of fire support. And that's a nice salvo against Bismarck. Now also I understand that here on the right side, like the enemy has higher tier battleships than the friendlies, but still, like if the friendly battleships would have held position here, the enemy would have never been able to push this aggressively. And they could have still had a fighting retreat there, maybe they could have delayed the cap. But they're completely giving up this flank. They won't be here towards the left side anytime soon, so they can't help push here. And this just allows the enemy to push through and catch the friendlies in a crossfire. So basically the battleships here on the right flank very early on made the worst possible decision you could have for absolutely no reason. Which is always sad to see. But I mean, the friendly team is 1 ship behind and they are obviously a bit points-wise. It took them longer to take A. And well, there is 1 ship behind, which also has influence on the points. But nothing is lost yet. The biggest issue they face is that, like, those ships, they aren't even, like, trying to delay this. Like, the battleships, they are so far north that this island is probably blocking most of the shots at the incoming ships. So if they were a little bit further south, they could at least try to delay this. So the enemy can now push basically until they pretty much catch all of the friendly forces in a crossfire. And the friendly forces can't push north because, as it turns out, the enemy team basically deployed the same as the friendlies. So they had equal numbers on both sides, so it's not really a situation where you can push. Usually it's a bit of a stalemate early on, and you just engage in long-range fights until one side gets the advantage and sees an opportunity to push. But the friendlies, they just said, you know what? Let's just the enemy come. Let's give them the flanking positions. But anyway. Now, HipSGuinness here is doing a decent job. He is doing some nice damage. He is looking for targets of opportunity. I mean, in long-range battles, you usually don't expect to happen anything too fast. The friendlies are now 3 ships behind, so it's getting worse and worse. So this is a pretty problematic situation, because, I mean, they don't really have the forces to push this. Like, I mean, if you're 4 ships behind, you will be hard-pressed to find a situation where you have the advantage, I suppose. And the enemy team also has the better positioning, by far. So it's an uphill battle here. Now, he's decided to more focus on these ships coming from the flank. Because I feel, well, I mean, the ships on the D side are pushing aggressively, while the ones here in the north are a bit more passive, so it's probably the right choice to try to meet this challenge. If he'd sailed towards A, those guys would keep chasing, while it seems not so likely that the ones in the north just keep pushing down. Now, that's what the enemy team could do, I suppose. They could, like, catch the enemies here in a nice pincer. But I mean, the enemy battleships here are probably figuring they are winning so hard that they don't feel the need to do anything aggressive. Now, unfortunately, the friendly team has no destroyer here scouting, and there are enemy destroyers pushing in. I mean, we know one is in the sea cap. We can now see the smoke screen here, and the second one is probably over there. Nice salvo on the core first. So there isn't much help around here. Now, HipSGuinness here is in a division, but his division mates are currently more focused on the northern side, and I mean, they can't let this side collapse. Now, if everyone was going to defend C, then they'd be in a pretty spot once more, in a pretty bad spot. And I mean, a friendly team, they are pushing the numbers back, but there is no way they are going to stop the sea cap, I suppose. Nice citadel here. Now, HipSGuinness here is deciding to not push in any further towards those ships, because it's not really to his advantage, especially with the smoke screen there that obviously has a destroyer inside. And here are the torps, which are somewhat expected. Let's see, can he find the battleship size gap? It's looking good.
Alerte incendie. Torpille à tribord.
So we have like approximately 4 ships here, and well, a 5th coming through the channel. Not so good, since we have about 3 defenders here. Now, we do have a friendly Luoyang here in a very aggressive position, but there is a Des Moines. I'm not sure if the Luoyang thought this through. I don't know what the radar situation is and how solid the cover of the Luoyang is currently, but he might just be in trouble there. Now, meanwhile, friendly gearing is coming down. I mean, there is a destroyer up in the north, so it makes sense that the gearing comes down here to help out. Even though there is a radar ship here, so he has to be careful about that. But I mean, there's a radar ship up in the north too. Now, the friendly battleships here, it looks like they are trying to push in now. Let's hope that the Kurfürst has Hydro running, because we expect 2 destroyers to be still around here. Shimakaze and the Benson, and while the Benson isn't the best torpedo boat, he still has a few of those. And goodbye Donskoy. Now we can see the Shimmer's wall of torps coming in, and that's probably the Benson follow-up there. So I think the Kurfürst has Hydro running, because those torps were spotted quite a mile ahead. But, you know, he is now also forced to show broadside to a République, because he's dodging torps. And the Key took some torps too, which is kind of impressive considering how soon they were spotted. But I guess sometimes you make mistakes. Now, the enemy République got a good salvo in, but here is the return fire, and okay, that was not so impressive. But I think the Key got the torpedo off, so that's good. Now, the friendlies here are getting rather low on health, so is the République. Friendly gearing might just be engaging the Shimakaze right now. And here, shells are on the way. Unfortunately, he survived. Now, I think HipSGuinness was expecting to sink the République here, because he is now showing a little bit of his broadside. He could have also turned more towards the République there to avoid return fire. But it worked out. And there is the citadel that he wanted. Now, I think for the first time the friendly team actually has Well, 2 more ships currently, so that's amazing. Well, down goes 1 friendly. But the enemy team still has the cap advantage, but thankfully there is enough time left.
Résolu, chef.
So he is getting low here. He could try to drop into concealment using this island. But he'll soon have a heal ready, and he's dodged some fire here. Managed to use the island to disappear. Heal is running. So there you go. Now the Benson is retaking this cap. The gearing. Enemy Benson seems to be in the north. Interesting. I would have expected him to stick around more towards the sea gap. Now Moskva versus Benson depends on how the Moskva can use the radar and if he gets caught by torpedoes or not. I mean, the Benson basically needs a torpedo strike on the Moskva while dodging the radar. So we will see how this turns out. It looks like the Hipper is running away. I mean, maybe the Hipper wants to use the points advantage, but it's just not enough time left, I suppose. I mean, there is too much time left. Like, there's no way the Hipper will win by just running away, I feel like. Then again, maybe if the Benson takes out the Moskva and then continues A, then the enemy can win if the Hipper just runs. So, well, lots depends on that engagement over there. It looks like there are some torps coming for the Moskva. Now we will speed this up here a little bit because there isn't that much happening until they can. Let's just look this way with the camera. It looks like the Benson just took a bit of a hit there. And he's taking fire, so I assume it's currently a radar running. And will he manage to sink the Benson before the radar runs out? Yes, he does. So very nicely done. This is certainly a game-winning move over there. So, now they are only left with the Hipper. They are getting the cap advantage. They basically have all the advantages right now. So yeah, all that's left is sinking that Hipper, and then this game, it looked very badly for a long time, will be won. And here we are with the results. HipSGuinness earned himself 1,918 base experience, and everyone in his division scored 3 kills. They shared quite nicely between them, and I think they did a lot of carrying. It looks like the friendly Montana also contributed quite a bit. But yeah, this game didn't look good for a long time, but they managed to turn it around. So, HipSGuinness earned himself the Dreadnought, scoring 167,000 points of damage and sinking 3 enemies, and while not the most impressive result, it was a very well played game. He did play this quite nicely, and it was a pretty close match. It was exciting till the end, I found. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.